Hi everyone, Comic Reviewer here, this time reviewing on Batman the Movie. Now, as you know, Batman the Movie was a 1996 superhero film that was meant to be based on the popular TV series from 1966 Batman, which had Adam West as Batman and Burt Ward as Robin. So of course, the film hit in theatres 2 months after the last episode of the first season, and pretty much doing a big summer blockbuster back in the 60s, and the first time you would kind of see an actual DC film getting its kind of big sort of cinematic release. It really showed you that, DC were really trying to kind of be all out with Batman here. And the premise of the film is meant to follow how Batman and Robin mainly try to save a ship that is being taken by Joker, Penguin, Riddler, and Catwoman. And we kind of see how, Batman and Robin, as well as Alfred, must find out what the villains want with this kind of special ship, as well as kind of preventing them from their main big scheme. And I think the film feels like a giant standard episode. Like, I think there was an intention to do a proper episode for this, but I feel like they just kind of jammed everything in for a big sort of movie-like story. And we do kind of see how Joker, Penguin, Riddler, as well as Catwoman pretty much use a special dehydration gun, which they plan to use on the world leaders. And this is going to have, Batman and Robin trying to stop them, save the day, and save the world leaders. And throughout it, I think the moral of the story is about working in a team, as well as sorting out your problems. We see how both Batman and Robin do work as a proper unit, and do get the job done. We also kind of see how, Joker, the Penguin, Riddler, and Catwoman fight among themselves, and their biggest flaw is kind of bickering and arguing, almost like the world leaders, serving it as a parallel. And I would say, surprise enough, the film really does go into darker territories, where you see a shark get blown up after Batman uses shark repellent, and how one of the sea lives sacrifices themselves to save Batman and Robin, and you have one henchman being blown out from a window and blowed up in a big atomic fashion. It really showed you kind of how I think DC really got darker, and it really showed you that, it kind of showed you that the Adam West Batman film was really trying to go a little darker at points. I think the problem with the episode, there's no real big story. It just feels like a standard episode. I feel like if they had the opportunity, I would have loved to have seen the Scarecrow be used. I would have loved to have seen Robert Helpman, or basically James Robertson Justice, or basically Gert Thorpe, or Christopher Lee for the role. I would have loved to have seen the Scarecrow be this dangerous criminal mastermind who works for an enemy country and has planned to release his dangerous fear gas on the world nations to strike fear and tyranny for his foreign country. And you could have had him recruiting the other villains to help work with his plan. It feels like the story was there, it just feels like they just gathered up what episodes they could. And I think it's even interesting how, Julie Newmar wasn't in the film, so of course you had Lee Merriweather for the role of Catwoman. And it's also suggested in the film Batman vs. Two-Face that Batman vs. Two-Face is meant to take place before this film, so implying that her character from that film became a criminal and got inspired to be the new Catwoman. I think, it's kind of jamming in whatever they could. It's gonna have the iconic moments that would later inspire DC memes. Like, yeah, Batman carrying a bomb, panically trying to get rid of it, and it has been referenced in Wallace and Gromit, A Matter Loaf and Death, and DC Superhero Girls. And yeah, it's even got that kind of shark repellent spray that's been referenced in Harley Quinn, as well as basically Batman the Brave and the Bold. And I think it's kind of clear that, well, yeah, the film wasn't perfect. You can really tell they wanted to give Batman something good. And yeah, even The Simpsons kind of parodied it with the Radioactive Man movie, where basically the producers said they wanted to stay away from the campy version as possible. Something I think Tim Burton and his team were trying to avoid. Well, yeah, it's not the greatest film, but if you're a fan of the Adam West series, I do recommend it for the whole nostalgia when Adam West and Burt Ward were the original dynamic duo. When you kind of had them pulling back punches, making jokes, and quitty remarks. So I think the film still deserves a thumbs up. It's still enjoyable, but you know it's not going to be the greatest one out there, despite what DC have done with other Batman stuff. So, Comic Reviewer here, signing out.